morning. My name is Satish Sherchan. I currently study at CDU Sydney, Southern University. This is a part of my unit WIB602, 603, Professional Practice Experience. It's a part of Masters of Professional Accounting course that we have to finish. So what happens in this one is you have to do 300 hours of placement work at an accounting company where you get to learn all the study materials and put it into practice basically. So yeah, let's proceed to our slide presentation. So on this presentation I'm gonna talk about my company that I work for, or our partners, my organization structure of the company, the roles and responsibility that I had to deal with, strengths and weaknesses of myself before joining our partners, applications of study units and projects undertaken is basically what I studied at CDU and put into practice at my workplace. The others is what sort of skills did I acquire after I finished my internship with our partners, and the breakdown of 300 hours that I worked for our partners. I'll give you a bit of reflection on what I have achieved and what this unit means to me as an accounting student, and I'll give you a bit of acknowledgement for the people that I'd like to thank, because it wouldn't have been possible without them. And a bit of conclusion at the end. Our Wealth manages wealth services for high net and provides financial advice to the client. Our Capital looks after capital for the company, and what they do is they give advice on merger and acquisition. They give you advice on how to open a company, and they give you advice on how to raise capital for a small to medium-sized company and things like that. Aura Partners is obviously the tax accounting firm that I've worked for. So what Aura Partners does for other Aura entities is they look after their accounts. They deal with their accounts in terms of taxation services, such as preparing BASs, lodging BASs, lodging ISs, sole activity statement, business activity statement, quarterly, monthlies, and annual reports and audit service. They provide, Aura Partners provide such service to Aura Capitals, and Aura Partners also has 350 different clients, and we look after all of them. We basically provide income tax return services. We provide them with trust services. We manage their self-managed superannuation funds, and we give them advice on Australian taxation laws and how they process their taxations and income. The other entities that our group has is our legal, which is more of a, obviously the name says itself, is more of a legal and lawyer services. They give you advice and solutions on conveyancing, such as apartment, could be anything to do with real estate, sort of. They give you advice on franchising, banking, and corporate and commercial. The other one is Aura Funds, which basically means they manage the funds for you. I'll talk a bit about Aura Partners. So my office was located at 52 Martin Place. It was right above 7 New Sydney building. My mentor was Kenneth Yip, who is also the partner of the company. My senior accountant was L. Lee. My graduate accountant of Aura Partners is Tarini Bora. She happened to be one of the interns, so just looking up to her. She was an intern. She joined Aura Partners at 2017 and later got hired as a graduate accountant in 2018. and she was the first person I spoke to as well. If there was any problems or small issues, I would definitely speak to her before going to Ken, because Ken was obviously a busy one. He would bring the client to the company, he would go on a lot of meetings, he was always busy advising clients and also employees such as us, and we do have a outsourcing team in Philippines who looks after the bookkeeping of our client and small business. So roles and responsibilities of an intern. So calling ATO, why would I call ATO an ASIC? ATO stands for Australian Taxation Office. I would basically call ATO for remissions of general interest that has been charged to our clients. Say if clients had 20,000 amount to be payable that they haven't paid since last year, obviously the ATO would charge them general interest. So in that cases, some of the clients ask us to remit those charges, and we provide the service for them. And we also provide payment plan services, well, which is a service of ATO obviously, but when you have thousands and thousands of debt, it's always good to have a payment plan, because not every company would want to pay all the debt at once. So that's why we would call ATO for and ask them for those services to be implemented. And a lot of times ATO portal crashes and ATO portal does not submit our queries, so on those cases I would call ATO and ask what's happening, and I would also call them for chasing on queries that we submitted, the posters that we did, and stuff. Research and draft would be mostly on, say if I'm preparing income tax return, so there would be questions such as on deduction, capital gains, if they have bought any shares in last year and sold any, if they made any capital losses that would be carried forward. Such things would be on my queries. There would be queries on deductions such as travel expenses, could be work related, it could be personal, so every tiny thing has to be looked after when it comes to thousands of income that you prepare. Administration work is basically like I told. I used to go to the post office to grab mails and scan and save all those documents on Dropbox and forward it to colleagues that I work on. I got to learn few software. I would say 3 to 4 that were really relevantly new to me. Xero was obviously the good one. Xero is basically accounting software where you have all your clients' data restored, and you process all the BAS's monthly, annual accounts. You can generate BAS's GST report and pretty much everything that a company has to do in taxation purpose and accounting purpose. So yeah, Xero was really helpful. I also got to learn practice ignition, which basically is accounts receivable sort of software, should I say? Because what happens in practice ignition is you set up a engagement letter where your client engages, they sign the documents, and once they set the proposal from us that we've set on practice ignition, and client provides their financial bank details, it's basically saved. It's not going to be deleted as long as we delete it, because we're the admin of the practice ignition, obviously. So it was a beautiful software that takes money from the client on a, say if it was a payment plan on monthly basis, say if it was a one-off service, and we don't, as in tax season, they really have tons of clients, so it was good not to keep chasing clients, because practice ignition does that for us. The other one was Now Infinity. What Now Infinity does is acts as a bridge between ASIC and our company, as in tax season company, and any forms or any changes that has to be done in the company, we would simply do that on Now Infinity, and Now Infinity as an agent would send that to ASIC, and that was really beautiful about Now Infinity. And the other one was Australian Taxation Portal. All the taxation would probably know that because it's one of the most important website, because all your client details and lodgement services has to be done through ATO portal. I'll proceed on to, and I definitely improved my Microsoft Excel skill. I didn't realize it would be this important, common in a corporate world, because Microsoft Excel is one of the most used software, not really the software, but yeah, Microsoft Excel was really good, so I learned quite a lot in Microsoft Excel as well. I'll talk about a bit of my strength. Before I went to Aura Partners, I had a bit of Microsoft Excel skills on myself. I had a bit of accounting journal entry skills that I learned in my uni. My financial accounting skills, obviously studying corporate finance, that was really good and helpful. And I knew a lot about taxation law and auditing services, all the tax rates, fringe benefit tax, and how to process them, capital gains and stuff. So I already had that equipped on me, and the ability to work long hours. That was always with me, and I was also a quick learner. So that definitely worked out as a strength on my side. And my weaknesses was obviously accounting software, because we don't get to use that in our uni. Corporate office, I've never worked in corporate office. I've only done hospitality jobs for the past 8 years. So yeah, corporate office, lack of experience on how to engage with people was one of my weaknesses. And I actually have never done a tax return myself previously, before I joined our partners. So that was one of my issues as well, working in an actual accounting firm. Applications of the study units at Aura Partners. University module that I already had equipped with me, and that I got to use on my workplace, were Australian taxation law. That was mostly relevant. And the other one was accounting principles. When I went to Zero, I had to do manual general ledgers, so that was really helpful. Corporate accounting. The other one is corporate finance, because obviously that would help mostly on how the finance of the company would work, and auditing services. That was really helpful. Knowing all the steps of auditing, what happens during the audit, balance sheets and stuff. At workplace, I did what applied from Australian taxation law was the tax rate of different income earners and how I would process them. Calculation of dividends, capital gains that I learned on taxation law, importance of engagement level that I studied in auditing, journal entries from accounting principles, accountability of evidence of plans and accounting workplace. So we have to save all the details on our Dropbox. Projects undertaken were national minimum wage that I had to carry, that I had to work on. There was an employee called Poklol, which was accused by one of our employee on how they were not paying the right wages for their employees. So we as an accountant helped them pull all the data from Fair Work, Optusman, and I made a report, and I Excel report, and I pulling all the data out from Zero as well, from like regarding their age and what casual or job status they were on. So that was a really good thing that I did on my intern. Registration of land tax that we carried on for one of the other client, Luke Munlau. So he was one of the high net worth individual client of ours. So I did that for him. We were basically registering his land tax because he had 4 different properties, and he has lost track of whether he has paid land tax or not. Migration to Zero, one of our company called Tramontina, who had sales revenue of around 3.5 million, so that was a big one. I did all the importing of bank statement for them from their Excel to our Zero. And the other work is obviously stamp duty services that I carried on, trustee registering registering companies for pay-as-you-go, GST holdings and whatnot. Income tax return was one of the biggest ones. So the graph for skills acquired at our partners, I would simply give it as, obviously there were steps where I hold on to the same position for, say, during week 6 and week 4. Those are the major ones. I think, yeah, you can't really see much of movement during the middle period, but overall, it has definitely improved about 90%. So that was really good. Breakdown of my 300 hours at work placement, I would mostly say this way. 120 hours were spent on preparing individual tax return for our clients, high net worth individual clients. I did a lot of trust tax return as well. And 28th of May, I believe, was the last due date for fringe benefit tax. So I did a couple of them, though I didn't really spend much time on them. I did a lot of BASs and ISS as well. 90 hours were spent on administration work, where I did a lot of postage mail, posting mail, retrieving mails, training and development that my mentor trained me on what trust company were and how you set up trust and what happens during trust distribution and stuff. And we always had meetings every day for an hour, I believe, from 9:30 to 10:30. So 40 hours were spent on those. I don't think you can really see it, so done it the other way. This is the reflection that I do, that I look upon at my internship. I learned a lot about Zero software. My time management skill were definitely improved. Communication skill is speaking to corporate clients and corporate people, employees and colleagues were definitely improved. Leadership skill, just looking at Ken and how he manages the company and runs the company, was really helpful. Client engagement and relationship building skill, how you write emails to client and how you engage clients and provide services to them were definitely improved. So I'll keep improving those skills on my further career. Technical skill of Excel, just extraordinary. I'll definitely improve that skill as well. Conclusion I would give is it was great working at Aura Partners. It was a tax agent for a lot of clients, so I got to learn a lot about Australian taxation rules and regulations, laws, and what governs them. Management of accounts for high net worth to small to medium-sized businesses, corporate business etiquette, and range of career choices for accountant. So one of the things Ken told me was it's always good to work as a tax agent rather than an accountant or a management accountant for a company, because you get to meet people and you get to include a lot of clients for your company, so that you don't get bored. Obviously, when you work in the same company for long, you don't see that much of client because you're basically typing in numbers for your company rather than different clients. So that was a good advice from Ken that I got. Acknowledgement. I would definitely like to thank Charles Darwin University for providing me all the education and study materials. I would like to thank Roopali Misra, my union coordinator. I would like to thank ReadyGrad for the company that they chose me for. I would like to thank Aura Partners and the team at Aura Partners, Kenneth L. and Tarini, especially because she helped me a lot during my term. So, that's a picture of my farewell. That's Ken. That's L, senior accountant, international. That's me myself. That was a new intern who came after me. That's Todd. So again, thank you.